He built multi-$100 million businesses, launched a $100 million book in hours, and still makes time to train like a beast. Today, we break down Alex Hormozi's fitness system, his workouts, his diet, what works for him, what's the hype, and what you can steal if you're short on time. By the end, you'll know exactly how to adopt portions of his routine for your life. This guy started out in the fitness industry. He then launched Gym Launch, which was helping physical brick and mortar facilities build and scale their businesses, turned that into a global model, sold that, opened up acquisition.com with his wife Layla, and they are just slaying it. Now they actually acquire other businesses that are, I believe, between the 3 to 5 million point, and they just scale them to the moon. So this guy knows what he's doing, and he looks like an absolute animal, better than most guys in his 20s, and he is running multiple businesses, making a ton of dough, and he's living that 10 out of 10 life. What I really respect about Alex and what I admire is that he shares a lot about his diet, fitness, training, whereas most entrepreneurs, especially at that level, do not. So he's out there putting out, hey, here's how I stay on track, here's how I train, here's how I eat, here's how I prep my life as a busy ass entrepreneur, absolutely slaying it, but I still keep my fitness in check and make sure that it's priority numero uno. Some of his content I've taken a good look at over the course of the years. I think I came across Alex maybe 5 years ago myself. I'm sure you're familiar if you're an affluent entrepreneur yourself, but he did a workout with Chris Williamson and they went through a full body routine, which is what Alex likes to do most of the time. I'm sure he switches it up, but 3 days a week, full body routine, and they show that as a great example here, training almost every muscle group. And they mentioned in the beginning a 3-hour podcast they did right before. Him and Chris Williamson potted it up, and it seems like they got into this full body training session right after a podcast, which kudos, because you got to be mentally, physically drained, which they also mentioned, but hey, they still freaking did it. And sometimes that's what it freaking takes. Now, when it comes to some of the exercises they're doing, it's kind of funny because as a professional in the fitness industry myself, over the years, I've gotten less and less anal about what we're doing. Unless you're trying to be a world-class bodybuilder, which not even Alex is, but almost anyone that would look at him would say, hey, this guy looks freaking stellar. If you're not trying to be an IFBB pro bodybuilder, it doesn't matter if you're making the right mind-muscle connection every single set. It doesn't matter if you're talking in the middle of a set. It doesn't matter if you're using the most optimal weight based on the percentage of your 1 rep max. These are all terms you may not even be familiar with, but at the end of the day, if you're getting in and training at a decent intensity, you're training at good frequency every single week, you're gonna maintain a great physique. Now, achieving a goal is different than maintaining a goal. Alex, understand this, is in maintenance phase. He looks good, he's happy with where he's at with his body fat percentage, with his musculature, with his stature. He has the ideal male physique. And when you're at that point, it's all about maintaining. I've been at that spot for 5 years. I call it living the 10 out of 10 life, okay? Health, wealth, and love equal happiness. And when you have your body in check, it's so much easier to maintain it because you don't have to push extra hard to maintain or achieve the goal. Alex is simply trying to maintain his physique. So when he goes in the gym and he kind of seems like he's lollygagging and dicking around a little bit, it's because he is. Because he can. Because he's put in the hard work over the course of the years to build the physique that he has, and now he's just like, hey, I'm just trying to keep this, bro. And that's why we'll get to this. He goes out and eats desserts. You can enjoy alcohol in moderation, because when you're already where you want to be, maintaining it is way easier than achieving said goal. And if you're not where you want to be and you're trying to achieve the goal, you can get there in the easiest way. I call it the work smarter, not harder model, which all of us affluent, hardworking entrepreneurs deserve. And to do it, it's a little more methodical than maintaining once you get there. So if you need that, head over to instashred.com. That's exactly what we do. We help high earning, providing entrepreneurs like yourself get in the best shape and maintain it for life without sacrifice. Another thing I really admire about Alex Hormozi is that he never skips dessert. I think that was a hashtag, viral hashtag in the business world about 3 years ago. And I actually jumped on it, is that he never skips dessert, which sounds weird, right? Like, what kind of fitness guy gets on the bandwagon of a hashtag that's fitness? Wait, what am I saying? Of a hashtag that's never skipped dessert. But he practices moderation. He knows what the if it fits your macros, flexible dieting lifestyle is about. And this pumps me up because, dude, life is for the living. We're supposed to enjoy ourselves in moderation. When you see a pan of brownies, you should be like, yo, that looks good. Those looks like some ooey gooey brownies. I'm gonna go have 1 or even 2 and not even feel 1 ounce of guilt. And that's the way to live life, because when you do enjoy things in moderation, not only are you more sane up here, but honestly, you're not gonna derail yourself. It's the problem is when you deprive yourself and then eventually you go back to old ways, or you cave in and you have 5 to 10 brownies because you haven't had them in weeks. But you were disciplined. So he is a huge advocate of, dude, relax, enjoy yourself. I always eat dessert. And I think it's cool that he made this entire video on how he eats dessert every single night. That's actually how he opened it up with a nice hook, is that, hey, every time he goes out to eat with his wife, they get dessert. At home, he usually has a sweet treat at night. And honestly, I'm with him. Another interesting point on the diet side of things is that he mentions that he backfills his carbs and fats. What he means by that is that he eats meat and mostly protein throughout the day. While he's working, he's on the grind, he's not looking to necessarily enjoy his foods, he's just eating for fuel. So he eats about 200 grams of protein a day. He actually mentions that in multiple videos too, just around the clock. 200 grams of protein a day, that's his standard, and it becomes clockwork. It's subconscious at that point. So he fills most of his protein throughout the day, and then at night, there's a lot of fun to be had, because when you know what your macronutrient breakdown is, which we all should, and if you don't, that's something else we always provide our clients with, is an ideal range to stick in, because it gives your body consistency and teaches that, hey, I can release some of this unnecessary body fat. I can use this food that you're giving me as fuel to rebuild muscle tissue. But if you're not consistent on a daily basis, your body's in oh shit mode, and it's like, whoa, I don't care if you're eating healthy or not, I'm gonna take this food you're giving me and try my best to store it as body fat. That's a true story. So at night, he has all this playroom because he didn't eat a lot of his carbs and fats throughout the day, and he can enjoy some desserts, enjoy more carb and fat laden foods when he's chilling after a hard day's of work. Now, that sounds pretty nice, right? Now I'll address the elephant in the room. A lot of guys wonder if Alex Hormozi is natural or not. I'm not here to judge. I've never dipped into the drug world, so I've never coached anyone on drugs. I've never tried drugs myself. Even SARMs, there's some hairy areas now with man-made substances that kind of inhibit our androgen receptors and are considered natty plus products. So there's always a gray area, right? But I don't have the answer to that. He's big. Is he borderline steroid use? I don't know. Honestly, I think muscle maturity is a thing. So over the course of years, if you've been training for 15 years, can you get as big as Alex naturally? Absolutely. Genetically, some people have the capability of putting on quite a bit more muscle than others. But I would go to say that whether he's on them or not, it doesn't matter. Why do we care? Because what he has is achievable naturally. And whether you're going to get as big as Alex or not, if you just work your butt off and you do what's right on the nutrition and the training side, you're not going to be disappointed, honestly. So I don't know why people always ask, is he on drugs or is he not? Some people, it's really obvious, but at the end of the day, just do you. It doesn't matter. And for the record, I don't think he's on drugs. So here are 5 simple tactics from Alex's methods that can be applied for any busy individual such as yourself. First one, training with intensity, not fluff. You can even see in these videos, Alex has an intent of what he's doing in every set. He knows what exercise he's doing. He knows how to create the proper tension and stretch in that exercise. And even though he may be dicking around and talking to his training partner, he still knows what he's doing. He's going into each and every training session with intent, especially when he's only training 3 times a week. Focus on protein consistency over perfection. As I mentioned, he shoots for 200 grams a day, and it's as simple as that. With a vague goal like that, regardless of when you're eating throughout the day, what you're eating, if you just focus on hitting around 200 grams of protein, and that's not for everyone, that's Alex's goal. He just knows, hey, at the end of the day, if I can get close to 200 grams of protein, backfill my carbs and fats, I'll be a-okay. Use prioritization with your training. Now, he didn't touch on this, but I'll touch on it for him. When you're training, always get the best bang for the buck. Start off with the compound movements, especially if you're training those simple 3 days a week. You want to use movements that are exerting the most effort, using the most muscle recruitment, because this is going to allow you to get the best bang for the buck. You're going to get in a shorter amount of time, you're going to beat those muscles up, and you're also going to get a much better result than, like, if we were to compare like a back row versus a bicep curl. A back row is using multiple muscle groups. You're using your entire arms, you're using your back, you're most likely supporting yourself with your lower body if it's a bent over row. And a bicep, you're sitting here like this. A bicep curl, you're just curling and you're not really exerting much energy, thus not burning many calories, and you're only working literally one muscle group. That's the difference between compound and auxiliary movements, is that compound movements work more than one muscle group, better bang for the buck, and auxiliary/isolation movements only work one muscle group. And those are great, but only after you've done compound movements for the most part. Don't mind my computer notifications. Busy man. Recovery. This is a non-negotiable. You need to minimize stress on your body, allow your muscles, your nervous system, everything to recoup. So sleep is important. We all know that one. I won't beat a dead horse there, but training 3 times a week is pretty optimal. There's so much more research coming out that you don't need the 5 to 6 day a week training programs, which is beautiful for us busy entrepreneurs. So rest is important. On your off days, don't feel like you need to do extra movements or anything. Dude, your body needs to repair, rebuild that muscle tissue, and that's how you truly make progress, is by training hard for a short period of time, but then giving yourself way more rest than you'd think necessary. So 45-minute training session 3 times a week, dude, that's literally all it takes. I'm not even kidding. And I had to learn this the hard way too, because when I was in my bodybuilding days, I was beating my ass up in the gym. 2 hours of weights, and then I'd usually do like a half hour of cardio if I was in a cut phase. And now I maintain the same physique, doing 3 days a week and not doing any cardio. And it's pretty mind-blowing when you get your body in line with what your goal is and realize, hey, I can get away doing way less and get the same result. Oh man, who wouldn't apply that work smarter, not harder model? Come on now. Now, as far as weaknesses or what Alex could improve, honestly, I approve of a lot of what this guy's doing, but I'll touch on just a few. I don't think his workouts sometimes, at least the ones he publishes, are not sustainable because they're long. Like his workouts are 1 to 2 hours long, which if you're training 3 days a week, if you have the time, I mean, he's in a different phase of business than a lot of people. He could probably take that 2 hours, 3 days a week. But I think his sessions are a little long. Granted, he's also working out with a partner in most of the workouts that he shares. So with that, he's probably doubling his workout time because of the chitter chatter in between. He's connecting with another influencer that is like-minded, and of course there's gonna be some chitter chatter between sets and even during some sets. But at the end of the day, I think if you're getting in and getting out and going in just with the mindset of, hey, I'm gonna get my training session in and get out, you can do it in quite less time than Alex did, and do just 1 hour a day, 3 days a week, and that is gonna be efficient. So I'm sure his training sessions on his own aren't quite as long, but I'd say it's a little overkill for the amount of time that he spends in the gym on the videos he's at least shared. The risk of overtraining and the joint wear really isn't there because he's doing a lot of beneficial movements that aren't really beating up the body like a sport would per se, like tennis or something. There's a lot of wear and tear on the joints, a lot of inflammation created, but with weight training, it's a lot of positive inflammation in the muscle that forces it to adapt and to grow and to get stronger and grow bigger, and that's good. That's why weight training is like the king, man. There's nothing wrong with athletes or doing sports, but there's nothing like a good weight training session when done safely, and the cons are so minimal. There's almost no downside to traditional weight training, and I'm so glad that that was my favorite from the get-go because it's the best, unbiased. He doesn't talk much on supplements, which I don't think is a big deal because over time, you know, I used to fall victim to marketing and supplements and trying everything, but I think that a few core ones are a fish oil, a multivitamin, a protein supplement. Creatine is one of the most proven and researched supplements out there. So outside of those 4, you really don't need to talk much about supplements, and I respect that about him, but I do think everyone needs a multivitamin to fill in those nutritional gaps. Protein powder is gonna help you hit that protein goal for him, 200 grams a day. Maybe he supplements with a protein powder, maybe he doesn't. He talks about how he eats like 2 12-ounce meat portions a day. That's pretty much gonna get you to 200 grams of protein, but I don't know if he uses a protein powder, but I'd say for most guys that are looking for convenience, use a protein powder. Fish oil, tons of benefits, anti-inflammatory, heart health, all the rest. And what was the last one? Oh, creatine. Thousands, tens of thousands research articles done on creatine. It's great cognitively, it's great for strength, it's great for recovery. It's been proven actually lately to even take it all the time. You don't even have to cycle it, which in the old days, like 10 years ago when I got started, it was always like 8 to 12 week cycles, and I could take it all the time. So those 4 are gonna be the tried and true supplements to take, and otherwise you don't need to fall victim to that marketing BS. All right, so let's wrap things up. I made you a custom Hormozi style cheat sheet that's gonna be down in the description below. Training split template, a diet sample, and a slightly more budget version of his game plan. Once again, you can go ahead and download that in the description below. If you want me and my team to help build you a Hormozi scaled program, go ahead and click the link in the description as well. In there, you can book a free call with us and we'll go over the ideal game plan for you. So in closing, his work ethic, his scale, his ambition is extreme, but there is nuggets you can use without going completely insane. Honestly, I think his routine is very doable. I don't think he's overdoing it near as much as other people. And although he may have done more to get where he is, what he's doing to maintain where he's at, I think is perfect. Even at the top of the game like Alex Hormozi is. Health matters. Make your body that starting foundation, that #1 pillar to the life that you want. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and if there's any specific elements of Alex Hormozi's routine or lifestyle that you'd like us to break down next, please let us know in the comments below. Until then, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us here at InstaShred.